A reading from the Revelation to John. And war broke out in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. The dragon and his angels fought back, but they were defeated, and there was no longer any place for them in heaven. The great dragon was thrown down, that ancient serpent who is called the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world. He was thrown down to the earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. And then I heard a loud voice in heaven proclaiming, "Now have come the salvation and the power and the kingdom of our God and the authority of his Messiah. For the accuser of our comrades has been thrown down, who accuses them day and night before our God. But they have conquered him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, for they did not cling to life even in the face of death. Rejoice then, you heavens, and those who dwell in them. But woe to the earth and the sea, for the devil has come down to you with great wrath, because he knows that his time is short." The word of the Lord. Today, this September 29th, in case you hadn't guessed, is the feast of St. Michael and all angels. And so it's appropriate that we would be hearing one of the few references to Michael in the Holy Scriptures, this quite dramatic sounding battle in the Revelation to John. There's a lot we don't know about the Revelation to John, that book of the Bible, that last book of the Bible, as it were. We don't know if it was written in the period of time after the temple in Jerusalem had been destroyed, or there's some evidence to suggest that maybe it was just before the temple was destroyed. But either way, we know that was a time of some real uncertainty, some real persecution of Christians at that time, real uncertainty about the role of the empire and in the Jewish community, a fear over what would come, justifiably so, as the temple itself was destroyed. We know in the midst of that uncertainty and fear that you can be looking for answers. And it's in that vein that we have this book, which its genre is known as apocalypse. Apocalypse often being misinterpreted to mean the end of the world, Armageddon, as it were. But instead, apocalypse actually meaning revelation, that thing that is to be revealed. And what that genre of literature is a prophet, John in this case. A prophet writing to 7 communities that had to be living in fear and giving them the assurance that there will always be times of great uncertainty and fear. And there will be times where there will be injustice and persecution, and there'll be times when you will be hurt. Your loved ones will be hurt, and there'll be times when it'll all feel like too much and you won't know where to turn to. But I promise you that this is not the whole of your story. And that at the end of this time, there will be life and love and wholeness again. That is God's promise to you. A God who loves you will not stand for the end of your story being persecution and war and injustice. And a call to hang on to that with each other and to remember that you're not alone. This dramatic story of Michael and the angels throwing down Satan is a sign of hanging on to one another and to that promise of God's love in the times of great uncertainty and doubt, in those times of fear. And to remember that you're loved. Let the archangel Michael, a figure of a warlike angel coming down to do battle with the forces of evil, be a sign, a metaphor of God's love for you. And that when you are overwhelmed by adversity, to remember God's passionate, fierce love for you is such that God will be there with you. Let a sign of that be found in each other, just as the angels in this story fought together side by side and would not lose hope. Let you and me, let your friends and neighbors, your family around you, your faith community be the people who are comrades in arms, as it were, in an uncertain world, to show each other a sign of the presence of God's love. Do not lose hope. Do not lose my hope, my friends, even in the midst of times of trial. That is what I hope for us to remember on this day of the feast of St. Michael and all angels. Amen.